Joined the Air Force in 1952, and I was in for 55. They turned me loose. I had about 3 months left. And they didn't want me in there. They didn't want to pay me, so they turned me loose. But I was a radar operator and worked. Left San Antonio after basic and went to California. From California, went to Washington State, and then they decided to give us some schooling on radar. And I was a radar operator. And then went back to New Mexico and stayed there till they shipped me overseas. Went over to Germany for 18 months, and when I got back, they discharged me.
That was during the height of the Cold War?
Well, just after it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We was watching the Russian border. We had a corridor that they could fly from Frankfurt to Berlin, and it was 20 mile wide. We had to watch planes going in and out of there. And that's before I got over there. They had the airlift to Berlin.
Sure.
And that's the corridor they used. And then if you drove up there, they give you just so much time to go on the Autobahn. But I never did get to Berlin. But I did get to Munich and Frankfurt and all over Germany.
Did you guys follow Russian aircraft too?
Oh yeah.
Make reports on them, or?
Well, yeah, if they got across the border.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did that happen a few times?
Well, we'd run over their border too, because test them out. And that's what they did all the time. And so we just more or less watched it and let it go, reported it, and that's about it.
Cool. Are you going to go up in the aircraft today?
Yeah. I'm next one to go.
I was there when the peace was signed. My ship brought the Missouri in, escorted the Missouri in. I was the first one in Tokyo Bay after the war. Before the war, really, it hadn't even been signed yet.
Was that in September of '45 then?
Yeah, we had 4 destroyers doing it back and forth. Yeah, we had Russians had to come in there, and English, and they all signed it.
How old were you
then? Well, let's see, I was 17 when I went in. Oh, I'd say might be 20 years old.
Did you know you were witnessing something pretty historic?
Oh yeah, I knew that. We had to go there and pick them up. We picked them up at Yokohama, quite a thing. Had a lot of people there.
When you were on the USS Taylor?
USS Taylor.
Mm-hmm. Was that a destroyer?
Destroyer, yeah.
Is that a Fletcher class destroyer?
2100. Mm-hmm. I think the Fletcher. I don't know if Fletcher was 2100 or 22.
What was your job?
Gunner's mate, taking care of guns, and shooting when they had to, but most of it to keeping them clean.
A lot of maintenance involved.
Oh yeah.
And you had brothers in the Navy too?
Yeah, I had 2 brothers in the Navy. One brother was in the Navy before the war. He was down in South America. The other brother went in after the war broke out. And when he left, a couple of years later, I went and had my mother sign me up. I tried the first time, they wouldn't take me because I was too young. But I got her to sign the paper, then I could go.
Was that after Pearl?
Oh, yeah.
Was that a pretty important thing to do at that time in history?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Was it the experience of a lifetime?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll never forget it. I don't want to do it again. I was scared a few times I wasn't going to make it.
Mm-hmm. Excited about today?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, I'll go up. I thank them a lot for recognizing us. Some of us. But we ain't got too many left.
Hey, it started out when President Truman sent me a letter inviting me for 2 years vacation. So they sent me down to Fort Leonard Wood for basic training. I took basic training, and then I took engineer training, learned how to build a bridge. And so then they sent me over to Korea. I go there, I go to a replacement company, and the guy says, what did you do in civilian life? I was a cook. Well, the cook's tent's right down to the very end. So I was a cook from then on. I stayed there for a year, and in the meantime, I was mess sergeant. And I left there a mess sergeant, and I come back and spent the last 4 months in Kansas at Fort Riley, and then I was discharged from Fort Riley.
Was Korea everything that MASH always shows it to be?
It's not the same. That one blonde wasn't there.
What about the weather?
Yeah. It was all in mountains, in mountain areas in most cases. And I was at an engineer company, and we had deals to purify water and big tanks to hold it in. So wherever we camped at, it was by a river. And all the rivers were clean, man. They were clean and cold, and a lot of mountains. It got warm in the summertime. At one time, it was 27 below zero in the wintertime, and I had 6 blankets on the bottom and 2 blankets on the top. Yeah, and then in the being a cook, we always had a great big pot of hot water, steaming hot water, and we'd throw the coffee grounds in there, and they could come in any time of the day or night. I was a mess sergeant. I just told these other guys what to do, and they did it. Yeah, but now the people that worked there, they drove trucks and bulldozers and all that stuff. They basically built pontoon bridges. They'd build one, they'd use it, and then they'd take it up and put it someplace else. They all worked hard, yeah. Because we had the kitchen open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah, pretty important job, I'd say.
Yeah, keeping them fed, yeah. And being that it was a headquarters company, we had good food all the time.
You looking forward to today?
Yeah, sure am.
I was 14 when it started, September the 1st,
1939.
39, yeah.
Do you remember that pretty distinctly?
I remember when they came out, 1st of September, we were in war.
Did you have older brothers?
I had 5 brothers in the war, and the 3 got killed, and some in-laws and some cousins got killed. Yeah, that's on the end of the war. You win this to, they didn't bring the soldiers back. They buried them out there, got killed. That's just like here, Here they bring them back to the cemetery. Sure. That didn't happen out in Germany.
No.
They just got buried whatever. I had one brother in Russia and one in Africa, and the rest of them came home. Mm-hmm. But you never knew. Whenever you saw a sudden man coming down the road, then you know he would go someplace and tell them that their son got killed or their husband.
Wow. It's a pretty rough time.
It is. And then you always had those airplanes flying over you. You never know when they let them come down or if they was going someplace else and loading them out.
Mm-hmm. Were you in a city or a village?
We're a village, what you call out a village,
How did you come to the United States?
I had a sister living in Decatur, and she let me come over here. He let her daughter going out to Germany for a visit when she came out from school, high school. And so she kind of talked me into it for me to come over here. In that time, before I had to take care of my mother in the household, so I wasn't able to go anywhere. But when she came out there for a visit, my mother had passed away, so it was only my father and my brother in the house. And so she kind of talked me into it to come over here, and I thought, why not? My father has other children, take care of him. I done my part.
Well, one is going to be 3, Got a wet bottom.